What's going on, guys? Welcome back, or welcome to the first episode of Behind the Vision. My name is Casey Schultz, and today we have a very special guest, Logan Martinez. He has built a $1 million real estate media company, and he's doing a lot of cool things for creators and just the world in general. So without further ado, what's up, Logan?
What's up, man?
How
I'm
you
glad
doing?
to be here, dude.
Yes, sir. How are you?
I'm doing good, dude. I met you from your Instagram ads. I love your
Like
content.
2 days ago.
Yeah, and I DM'd you, and I was like, I need to connect with this guy. He looks like he knows what he's doing. He's young, and it's always inspiring to see people making moves and stuff. So
appreciate it.
I'm excited to see your studio. This is pretty cool, and I'm excited to be your first guest.
Thank
dude.
you. Yeah, I appreciate it. I'm excited. So if you want to get a little bit into your backstory and kind of how you got started and let the people know
Yeah.
how you got here.
So the story sort of begins postgraduate, right out of college. I went to a small college in my hometown and, had fun there, studied business. And right out of college, didn't really know what I was doing. And I just thought I'd dive into real estate. So I started, selling real estate, selling homes and stuff like that. And probably like a year and a half in, I got, some listings and stuff. And one of my best friends was, creating content. And he started creating content for some of my listings. And at the time, 2018, 2017, video really wasn't a big thing in real estate.
Yeah, for
so,
sure.
yeah, we started shooting some videos. Everyone was like, hey, dude, like, who did these videos? These are pretty good. And shortly after, wheels started turning, and we started our business. So, and this was in Central Valley, which is pretty small. I would say a lot of people didn't see the vision with media and the type of stuff we were doing. So it was totally new. That kind of was the start, and it was a small start. It was a humble start. We were both doing, me and my business partner, Nate, we were both doing, part-time clout and full-time jobs.
Yeah. How'd you guys come up with the Clout name?
Clout, that's funny. Oh, man, we were just sitting on the couch, just throwing some names out there. And I'm not sure if it was me or my business partner, but when we said clout, we're like, dude, that kind of sounds good, And it's funny because we started to get like some backlash and stuff. People were like, what is this? It sounds like, Cardi B, and people were just talking smack, But ultimately, like looking back nowadays, when someone sees the brand, it's simple and
Yeah, it's super clean. Yeah, I love it.
People like it.
100%.
Yeah.
You guys started in the era where, like you said, there was not really the hype around video and photo and all that stuff. So what was that like starting out in a world that wasn't really with the times, you can say?
Well, it's hard to sell something to someone that doesn't understand it and it's not, widely adopted.
Yeah.
So, we just started offering people what they wanted and tried to sell them what they needed, but it was difficult. So shortly after COVID hit, and we were already starting to make some moves to the Bay Area, and this was like an hour and a half, 2-hour commute to our small town, and that's where people understood. So if you're trying to sell something to somebody that doesn't understand it, find out where the people that understand it are, and try and sell it to them there.
I love it.
So that's what we did. We moved to the Bay Area, and things started kicking off out there.
Yeah. How long before you guys started gaining traction in this space?
Dude, okay, so this is actually a funny story. Most of our marketing is done through like email, and what's funny is during COVID, there was like this don't shoot, don't do anything, no one's allowed to see each other, and a lot of the photography companies were just like
Shutting down, I bet.
not necessarily shutting down, just like being quiet and waiting to figure out what's happening.
Yeah.
And we sent out an email campaign to a bunch of agents out in the Bay Area, and it was like, is coronavirus affecting your home tours? You need more media. Give them the 3D tours. Give them the full tour so people could at least see inside the home. And so, it was like the perfect opportunity to pitch these services, and no one else was working. So a lot of people were like, dude, my people aren't working. Can you do it? And people were trying to make moves, but we're like, dude, who cares?
Yeah.
Screw it. So I remember driving down like to the Bay Area, like down highways that were completely empty.
It was crazy.
And here we are, clout with our cameras, driving out there, dude. It was so funny. But that was a huge opportunity for us to start building clients out there, and immediately, you know, we've got some really, really top dogs, some good clients, top agents.
That's awesome.
And you know, they started posting stuff, and people are like, "Oh shoot, who is this?"
Yeah.
You know, and immediately we're like, "Okay, dude, we have to like, you know, hold on to this opportunity."
Love it. That's really cool. And you guys started officially, what, 2019 is when you hit the ground running?
2019 is the first year we have books.
Nice.
So,
and how
yeah.
was that year like for you guys? I know you guys got off to a pretty hot start, and we'll get into what you guys are doing now. But
Yeah. So the first year, we were working our butts off, and I think we probably did like maybe 180 grand part time, 2 people. And I mean, we were doing everything. Like the team was 2 people. So we were doing the editing, and we were doing the shooting and everything,
Really
selling, brand building, social media is a lot.
Are you guys still offering the same things that you guys were back then?
Yes and no. So we decided to get rid of like our a la carte menu and just bundle things together.
Smart.
So that kind of steered us away from, you know, working with clients that had small budgets.
Gotcha.
And usually there's not a way around that. So we kind of just stick to that. And ultimately making that decision increased our average order size, average order value.
Cool. Yeah, like I was saying earlier or yesterday when you and I were talking, I started in real estate and did that for a little bit, but like you're saying, smaller ticket stuff, like $200-$300 jobs.
That's literally how we started. I think our average order size was like $250.
Yeah.
You know, and then you're doing the math. You're like, okay, if I want to make, you know, 250 grand, how many projects do I got to do? Dang.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't stick with the real estate stuff long enough to kind of see the fruits of it, but I love that market. I love the people in it. So
yeah, there's always opportunity. And I think it's just finding out, you know, what you're passionate about, where you don't get burned out, and just building up a, you know, a solid team that sees that vision and stuff. Because
100%.
when you're happy creating content, and you're doing what you like, it just makes it so much easier.
Doesn't even feel like a job at that
Yeah,
point.
it's fun. It's fun.
Really cool. Yeah. What was it like? Again, you started out in COVID. What were the challenges, and like, were you guys ever wondering if you would make it out of that? Because like the market wasn't ready for it. So what was that like? Was there a lot of doubt?
You know, business is funny because when you think of our line of business, you're waiting for the next deal to come in, and sometimes you don't know when that's going to come in, right? So, you know, year 1, you're like, dang, well, we did this. Can you assume that it's going to be like this year 2, right? Year 3, and you kind of just go into it. But that's the importance of branding and customer service, and, you know, giving your clients that experience where they will come back. So it is pretty consistent, and you'll bet that all your clients have a fire under their butt and big goals too.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you have that vision, everyone aligns, you know, everyone does good. And then there's times where the market takes a turn. And for us, you know, if let's say, you know, for example, in 2019, there's 1 million homes sold, but in 2020, there's 600,000 homes sold. There's, you know, less pie. So what you have to do if you want to grow is you got to take someone else's business, and you got to take their clients. Mm-hmm. And that's what we've done year over year. And the only way to do that is to provide a better experience than the other companies.
What would you say that experience is like for your company?
So a lot of agents typically, I wouldn't say, a lot of agents work or have worked with like individual creators, and that's really cool. And you get a lot of like custom type of stuff. But once you start thinking of working with a team, you know, things change. And I think our team has the ability to give a better experience than most individual one-man shows.
For sure. Yeah.
Owner-operator, because we have a client success manager that's just there handling the project and making sure everything is done. Cool. For example, if you hire an individual content creator, sometimes you're dealing with, you know, you're reaching out to them for an edit request, but they're already shooting another job.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of inefficiencies and a lot of problems that come up. But I would say our experience is definitely in our relies on our client success manager and our team of editors and our team just to have a consistent product delivered next day, high quality, and everything like that.
I love that. Yeah, I mean, I was single off for a while, and that juggling aspect of like, I have to go shoot this, but then someone's calling me, then I have a meeting, so it's hard to balance all that stuff and scale at that point.
Everyone starts there.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to just start off with a team. I was lucky to have, you know, a co-founder, one of my best friends, to kind of balance out the things. And, you know, he has strengths and I have strengths, so we sort of balance that out and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, that's a whole nother topic. But, you know, going into business alone versus having somebody, you know, I'm in just about 6 years now, and I tell everybody, I don't know if I would have made it this far.
Yeah.
Because there was times where I was very doubtful, burned out, and a lot of things. And I'm sure every creator feels that.
100%. I was going to ask you, what was it like going in with a co-founder instead of single off?
It was cool. It was fun. You know, it was awesome because ultimately, a lot of us deal with, you know, motivation and lack of motivation from time to time. And I like to say that you or anyone that has a business partner should find someone that if you are not feeling like 100%, let's say you're feeling 80%, they're going 120. So everything's firing, because there's a lot of times where I'm just like, dude, you know? And, you know, for example, like early on in our business, we expanded down in Los Angeles, and you know, we had like high hopes for that to work out, and it just wasn't. It was very hard. That market was very hard because it's so competitive. There's so many cameras out there. There's so many young, talented people, and a lot of people hungry and eager, working for free to just get clients. So it's very competitive. But you know, luckily that you know, I was out in San Francisco and roping in a bunch of deals, and eventually my business partner was like, "Hey, dude, you know what? Like, I need to come over here. This is where the money's at." So we ended up making that move.
That's awesome. What was it like initially, like trying to align your vision with his vision? And
in the beginning, very easy. You know, we thought big, and we were pretty much on the same page. You know, I came in with the real estate background. My business partner came in with content creation and like a PR background. Nice. So yeah, we both had like sort of different strengths. And like, for example, that email campaign that we sent out during COVID, a huge reason why we started picking up business was his idea. He's like, dude, let's do this. Let's kind of shake it up a little bit. And we had people emailing us back. They're like, dude, why are you like, you know, bringing fear in front of everyone? Like, why are you doing this? Like, I'm going to report you and all this crazy stuff. But that was a stunt that came from his mind.
I want to talk more about that. You said you guys do content creation for your agents, obviously, but you guys market in a different way. You guys do email.
Yeah. So how we market to our clients.
Yeah.
I'll talk about that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting. So, you know, if you're marketing to, you know, whoever your client is, you kind of have to understand where they're at, where they're spending their time. Traditionally, you know, old marketing was shaking hands. It was networking. And now with the power of the internet, you have a lot of different opportunities, right? Whether it's creating content for social media and getting impressions and engagement, that's like the modern day handshake. You know, or if it's email. So in particular for us, it was email. Me coming from my real estate background, I knew that every real estate agent was handling deals in their email. So they're always in there. They're checking their emails because that's where the offers come in. That's where a lot of important things happen. So I was like, dude, we got to hit them in the emails. So yeah, we did that. And, you know, there's a lot of powerful tools out there. We started out with, literally just Gmail and Gmailing people. And then eventually we ended up doing like MailChimp. It was a big investment at the time. I think we paid like $200 a month. So if you add it up, it's, you know, $2,400 in a year. And for a new company, that's kind of scary.
100%.
But we're like, dude, let's try it. And bulk email, you have the opportunity to do bulk emails that are like really visually pretty and stuff. So that's really what we started out doing, and we still do it, and it's still a good way to get in new business.
It's cool how we run similar companies. Obviously, my target market is different, but the way you can market differently, that's what I love. So
Yeah, dude,
really
I love
cool.
what you're doing with ads, dude.
Thank you.
I mean, like I came across, I was like, dude, okay, whoever filmed the video, if it's him, great. And then it's just like the sound effects and the hook. So I mean,
That's what took my business off was those ads. Like I started out, I was talking to you yesterday about this, was like I was freelance for a little bit. I had a job with a creator, left that, and then went officially full time like halfway through 2023. Was making maybe $2,000 a month through that year, and then January of 2024, I was working with a coach, and he showed me the ad strategy. Started
Sick.
posting content, and then that's when it just.
Nice.
So
Was a coach? Was it like a paid sort of thing?
it was a paid coach. He did specifically like video stuff. Shout out Julian. So he completely changed my business, and then I worked with another coach, and she did more like back end strategy stuff, and
Dude, that's
I would
awesome.
film for her, and we traded work. So
Yeah.
it was a grind at first, but those ads definitely changed everything. So
Dude, it's crazy because each business has their way to get new business and marketing and stuff. And I mean, I'll be honest with you, like we don't run ads on
that's so crazy.
on stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I think what's cool, and you tell me what's better, what works better for you, running ads on your personal page or running ads on your business page.
I don't even have a business page. I started one, and
Dude.
I've never posted on it.
That's nuts. See, because you know what? People like you. They see your ad and they're like, I want to talk to you. And as our business, they're like, who are we talking to?
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
But I think even with that, and I'll face this when it comes, but like if I ever wanted to exit or sell or whatever, my face is attached to the company. So it gets a little bit tricky there because then people want to work directly with me. And
Absolutely.
scaling at that point could get a little bit difficult because they're, oh, well, you're not coming to shoot my videos. What are you talking about?
Yeah. I have a joy in going through people's funnels and not buying anything just to kind of see how their funnel works because I love sales. And for example, you could think of many of the big creators, right? We'll just say like Alex Hermosi or something. I mean, you see his ad, you see his stuff, but when you book a call, you're not talking to him.
Yeah, definitely not.
You're definitely not talking to him.
100%.
His time is like way up here on the pole. So I think that's what we have to learn is how to, and that's something I'm still learning, and you're already paving your way through there, is how do you create a personal brand that's strong and build a team that resembles who you are and what your values are.
Yeah, that's a good point. Speaking of different ways of marketing, where do you think marketing for agents and small businesses, where do you think that's going? Do you think it's going to stick with social media or?
Dude, I think social media is king. It's the more people that know who you are and what you do, the better off your business is. No one's going to hire you if they don't know who you are and they can't find you. So I think social media is the way. I just think that things will be done differently. I think that social media management is a tricky thing. So when you go into a business and you want to offer social media management, it's tricky. And those that are doing it right are at an extreme advantage because a lot of people don't know what they're doing. So I think if you look at like someone like your business and you see the products that you offer your clients, I think that you're in a great place. I think that a lot of creators are going to start creating content themselves, businesses and stuff, using their iPhones. I mean, the camera quality is incredible, and I think that there's going to be more apps out there that make it easier and easier to edit that content. And stuff like that. I think small businesses are going to pick up those things. Yeah. So they're going to say, okay, I'm going to create the content, and they might have assistance from some sort of brand manager who gives them, different advice or different things to help them grow that. And then the businesses that have money that don't want to do that are going to hire agencies.
That's good.
Because a lot of times there's people like they've got money, they just don't want to do it, and they don't want to learn it, and there's so much. So there's a lot of opportunity for both those.
Yeah, 1,000%. And we'll get into your app in a little bit. I want to talk about that. It's super exciting. But
yeah,
you guys last year hit a big milestone.
Yep.
$1 million company officially.
Yeah.
How was that scaling, and what were some key milestones?
Dude, it was so cool. So I also run the accounting and all the books for our company. So I track, where money's coming from and how much we're doing and how much we did last January compared to this January. So I just really dive into numbers. I love numbers. And, we set up our goals for 2024, and I was like, okay, we're going to hit these numbers, and you really have to break it down. So you're like, you can't just say, hey, I want to make $1 million. You're like,
game plan that.
Okay, I've got to do X amount of shoots. My average order is this much. So you can kind of reverse engineer all of those things and come up with a plan, right? And let's say, for example, if you have 100 clients, and 100 clients typically bring in, I don't know, let's say 500 grand, right? Those numbers are probably totally off, actually. I would say more like 200 clients will bring in 500 grand. You can't expect to make $1 million with only 200 clients in 2025.
Yeah.
You have to figure out, okay, I need to double how many clients I have.
Yeah.
And what's your plan? How many new clients do you have to bring on each month? And really, really do that. And something that I learned later, which I wish I knew so much earlier, was your client acquisition costs.
Mm-hmm.
How much are you willing to pay to get a new client, and what's that value of that client?
Yeah,
that was something that, dude, I couldn't put a number on it because I didn't really think about it. And I'm just like, dude, ChatGPT, help me out. What should I be doing here? And they're like, you need to do this. I'm like,
yeah,
there we go.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What was the turning point from like, okay, we're doing $500,000? What was that switch? What was that one thing that like just took off?
Bro, you can't be owner operator. You can't be in the field. When we started in 2019, me and my business partner were shooting probably up until the beginning of 2024. Damn. Like 4 or 5 years of shooting.
Wow.
I'm talking like sunrise to sundown, trying to make $1 million. It's impossible. You can't even do that with that many people.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to sell your stuff higher prices, and that's not the market. You can't just do that. So as we were shooting full time and running the business, we also started hiring photographers. So the work that we couldn't pick up, we give to them. One problem we ran into is we would service our top clients. They would service like the new clients or decent projects that came across. And our problem was our clients wanted us. Mm-hmm. They wanted us to be the shooter. Your photographers don't do it like you guys do.
Yeah.
And it was painful, but we lost a few clients when we made that transition. But ultimately, we ended up hiring, probably about 10 freelancers last year. We freelance hired them, and we onboarded them to, what our processes and stuff are. And now we don't shoot at all.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because we were like, dude, we have so much time, and the reason we couldn't do that earlier on was we were paying ourselves too much. And we were like, okay, look, we made this much money. You know, and then you get excited, as a new business owner, you get excited. So you buy a nice car and, you have a nice apartment. We were living in a penthouse, dude. It was stupid. Stupid. So at the time we were like, dude, we can't afford to get out of the field and hire someone else because we need that money.
Yeah.
We need that money for ourselves and our own, like.
You just pinch yourself.
Yeah, what we're doing. So we're like, dude, okay, we need to make a change. So we cut our pay down like significantly, lowered our spending in our lives and stuff, and was able to bring on a team. And now things are sort of evening out, and all we could do is grow from here and build with our team.
That's awesome. How many team members?
On staff, 4 full-time. Me, my business partner, client success manager,
Nice.
and our brand manager. So that's like
Core of it.
on staff in the U.S., but we've got people working for us, full time, abroad that are doing a lot of tasks for us.
Yeah.
So I would say our team is probably closer to about 20, 25 people.
Nice. Are there any tools that you use? Because I know they're all remote, right?
Yeah.
What is your favorite tool that just brings everybody together?
Dude, well, definitely Slack.
For sure.
Slack for communicating, Asana for project management. We use Go High Level for our marketing and our CRM.
Nice.
And, we use a powerful project, not really management, but a project delivery platform called Ario.
Nice.
They've definitely saved us hundreds and hundreds of hours. I think we pay them probably like $5,000 a year. But dude, I mean, now what we pay in software is like, it's got to be like $10,000 a year at least.
Damn.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's needed though.
It's crazy, dude. But it saves so much time.
Oh, 100%.
You know, and there's this one that we actually adopted earlier this year, and if you guys want to download it, it's called Fireflies. We attach that to all of our meetings, and it transcribes it and gives us summaries, and then also does action items. So what I could do is when I'm doing a sales call or when I'm talking to my team, after the meeting, you forget, you know, you don't want to have a notepad. It's just you want to be engaged. So that's a really good app I'd recommend.
I love that. Yeah, that's good. Now getting into my favorite part, you guys went from on-staff media, in-person, and you're headed towards technology.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys are building an app right now called Shooter.
Yeah.
What does that look like right now and for the future?
So Shooter is an application that we're building for content creators to run their business, giving them powerful tools to, pretty much, run their business where they could just focus on the content creation. And it's also going to serve another purpose as a marketplace for photographers and content creators to be discovered.
So smart.
So it's. I wish I had a better way to kind of say it, and I kind of have to work on that as we roll out with it. But ultimately, when we created this and had the vision for it, was once we started hiring freelancers, we only pay them about 30% of what the project value is. So if we have a project for $1,000, we'll only pay them $300. And me as a content creator that used to be sort of in that role, but working for myself, I was like, damn, like that's really all we could pay them. But when you look at the agency model and how much things cost, $8,000, $10,000 a year in software and project managers and editors, at the very end, the ownership of the company has to make money. And if you're $1 million company, and you have two co-founders, you might be able to each make $100,000, and then these people get paid, the business makes a little money. So you're like, damn, there's not really money to be made, and there's so much work being done.
Yeah.
So what we wanted to do is create a platform for creators to manage their business, market themselves, create a profile, sort of a platform that's very pretty and easy to use. Something that's like when you're using Uber, how easy it is
Seamless,
to use. Yeah, seamless. That user experience is very easy. Like Airbnb, like that type of stuff, Amazon. So as soon as you go into it, it's very, very easy.
Love it.
And that's the thing is a lot of freelancers freelance because they don't know how to run a business.
Exactly. That's a big,
They don't know how to run a business, dude. They're not salespeople. They're not website builders. They're not, editors and stuff. So we're trying to create a platform where they could, use as much software as possible and
so good.
And do that.
I love that. That's what I struggled with starting out, was like, I was a freelancer. How can I turn this into a business? And that was that switch that I had to make. Almost like I do videos to I'm your marketing team.
Yeah.
And that was a switch that I had to make to allow myself to make money and start a business in a sense. So
yeah, it's a difficult thing because it's a lot of change.
Yeah,
it's a lot of change, but it's I think that. Dude, seeking mentorship, finding people online talking about things. I mean, we've learned so much on different Facebook communities and, talking to people that are in the industry and stuff like that, because you'll be lucky if you actually find people that are willing to help.
Exactly.
And there's enough money for everyone to make. Yeah. And I think that I think it's cool being able to talk to people about these things.
100%. Coaching and finding mentorship was one of my biggest things too. Was like I didn't know what I was doing, and that helped me get to.
So did you
get the ball rolling?
Did you get served an ad for coaching or mentorship?
So
was it something like, "Are you struggling with this problem? I can help."
I did. So there was two stories. There was one, I stepped out of that editing role, and then I was working part-time, trying to get this thing started. I was working with a few real estate agents and then one other client. And Then I was going to networking events, trying to get myself out there. I was like 18 at the time, so I was like, I'm not supposed to be at these networking events at all. There's like 30, 40-year-olds. I'm not supposed to be here. And there's a business coach that I met at one of them, and I had a question for her. So she's like, yeah, just call me. So I called her, and she's like, oh, yeah, da, da, da. And then she's like, I actually need help with my social media. Perfect. So then her and I traded work. She was helping me set goals for 2024 and kind of get the systems going and the ball rolling.
Sick.
And then that got me to, start to get more clients, start to go to more networking events, and that opened my eyes to a lot of things. And then like August of last year or August of 23 maybe, I got hit with an ad, and it was like, hey, are you a videographer that wants to make 10K a month or something like that? Like super basic. And I was like, yeah, I do. What's up? And so I started, and that was a big investment at first. And he was like, yeah, it's like a couple grand to work with me. I was like,
What if this actually works?
it was like if it works, fantastic. If it doesn't, this is the last of my money. And we hopped on the sales call. He had a great sales system. It was like I wanted to say no, but I was like, yeah, sure. And then I stepped away, and I was like, I can't do it right now. So then like after the sales call, I texted him. I'm like, sorry, dude, but I can't do it. And then joined BNI, joined a bunch of other networking groups. And then like 2 months later, I was in that same position. So then I texted him. I was like, all right, dude, I tried everything. Let me see what you got. And then took a couple months, but then it started to scale up. Started making more content, started putting ads out there, and then just took off. So
this thing, dude, is mentorship is key. It's so important because if someone has already done it, they know how they did it.
Exactly.
And it could be, I would say, someone that's got, at least a few years of experience can be a coach. I don't know. Some people just go into coaching, so it's kind of I don't know how well they're doing, but ultimately, if you have already done it, you could teach somebody, and that's the reason for some of our success and some of the expansion efforts we've done over the past was, because we know how to market and how to do these things, how to enter a new market. So that mentorship is what I provided and my business partner Nate provided to our team as we expanded in new areas. So it's like they didn't even have to go get that because we're like, let's do it.
Yeah.
But definitely we've had mentorship, early on in our business and stuff. And
I like that. What advice would you give to creators looking to grow their careers?
Niche down.
Really?
Niche down. Get really good at something specific. When we were starting our company, we wanted to do everything. It's like, I'm going to give a metaphor. It's like a fishing boat that goes out that has nets, harpoons, fishing lines, and they're just going out to catch something, right? Versus the other ship that goes out there and, they're just trying to catch sardines. They're going to catch a lot, and they're going to be successful. And I think what that really means is once your business is going, you'll have some really, really good, efficient systems, and it's hard to do custom projects in so many different sectors and so many different things that you can't follow the same systems.
Yeah, you have to rebuild it every time, basically.
Yeah, so I think that when it comes to new content creators or young content creators that are on their journey is get really, really good at something and just compete there.
Yeah.
I think that at the end of the day, like for us, what sets us apart among a freelancer trying to do real estate photography, videography work is experience we're going to give the clients is going to be better than the experience they can provide them.
Yeah.
I mean, we know exactly how long our shoots take. We know exactly what they cost. We know exactly the turnaround.
Yep.
And we have an amazing, amazing process. So, but business is kind of like war, in a way. It's like I wouldn't say it's almost maybe dating would be a better scenario. So it's like the client is looking for a date, and are they going to go with someone who hasn't done it before?
Yeah.
Or are they going to go with someone that's done it? Well, that's not maybe that's not the best example either.
So
but
funny.
you see what I'm saying.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I had a client He's one of my honestly a mentor now and runs a big software company. And I pitched him at first, and I was like, oh my gosh, dude, like this is one of the biggest clients I could work with. Like,
Yeah.
so I pitched him all this stuff, and I was like doing all this stuff, and he's like, dude, I date before I marry. Let's try it out for a month, and then we could work together. So that was funny. But the dating analogy, I get what you're saying.
That's a really good point, you know. And I think when you're thinking about sales, you can't over fancy it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You can't, dude. You know, a lot of people, and we've tried this, right? We actually bought into a system before where this guy's like, I know how to do all this and do all that. Look at the money I make and this and that. And we bought in and we tried to implement it where it was, you know, running ads, creating content, and then have people book like a discovery call with us. And we put tons of money behind it, and it didn't work. And maybe we were doing it wrong. It could have worked, but I think the reason it didn't work is because people don't want to have a meeting with me or us talking about something that they don't even got yet.
Yeah.
A lot of times I think that people are like, hey, I got a new listing. You're top of mind. You know, I want to, what's up? You know, let's do this. Sense. They didn't want to just have a conversation. It's like, dude, I'm busy. I don't want to waste my time and just talk.
Makes sense.
You know, so a lot of our stuff is just like, you know, just kind of conversations back and forth and stuff. And, you know, they'll come in, and if we do have like a proposal, it's mostly just like a conversation, and they say, okay, I'll write it up.
Yeah.
But I don't really go into any sales thing with like a proposal sort of ready. I mean, I know what it's going to look like and what it's going to say and stuff, but most of it's like, hey, like, you want to do this?
Yeah.
You know, and I'll be on a call and they say yes, and I'm like, all right, cool. Yeah. But I'm not going to waste my time, you know, preparing a lot of stuff. I've done it many times.
100%.
You know, I was trying to put on like a kind of a Netflix TV show sort of thing with a big team we were working with, and they were doing like some really, really cool stuff. They were like flipping homes, but like it was weird. So someone would want to sell their home, and they would go in and redesign it. So they'd move out, redesign the entire home, and bring it to the market. So they're like flipping people's homes that they still owned. And it was totally weird. Yeah. So it's kind of like a concierge program where they were, you know, improving the houses and stuff. But dude, that stuff they were doing was sick. Like, it was nice stuff. I mean, for a good time, that was a thick part of our portfolio. Yeah, is their stuff. So I proposed like a TV show called I think it was like Transform the Block or something. There you go. Dude, they were doing one block at a time, and it was like 4 houses next to each other. And I was like, dude, this is cool. You're gonna do you know, sick. We could like show each house and how they're gonna be different. And I created this huge proposal. I was so excited. And I talked to one of the agents that really wanted to do it too. And she was, I mean, it would have been great. And then when it got to the desk of the decision maker, he's like, no. I'm like, bro, I wasted
4 hours doing
I wasted so much time and energy, and it wasn't wasted though. It really wasn't wasted. It was exciting, but I mean, it's easy to start counting your chickens before they hatch.
100%.
You know,
especially early on, like you'll get a follow and be like, oh, closed deal, let's go, and then nothing ever happens from it. I caught myself doing that quite a few times, but
yeah.
Wrapping up here, what if you could start over from scratch? What would you change or do differently if you had the opportunity?
Yeah. I'd save as much money as I could. I wouldn't pay myself much. And I would start thinking of what numbers you have to hit in order to bring on your first team member or freelancer. And maybe even start with like a freelancer that is a good friend of yours. You know, where they're okay with doing part-time kind of work here and there until you build, and then eventually have that conversation and say, hey, dude, like, let's hit this. Let's hit this. Yeah. I think if I would have done that, I probably could have got to where I'm at now, probably I'd say maybe half or 2/3 of the time.
Love it. What advice would you give to entrepreneurs looking to scale to $1 million? Whether that be creators or...
Yeah, dude. Systems. Fine-tune systems. Fine-tune systems and figure out how you could wear less hats. You know, if you're wearing many hats, if you're the salesperson, you're the the service provider or whatever industry you're in, you need to figure out how to wear less hats. And ultimately, I think you should be running the business,
100%.
right? Be the visionary and, you know, set big dreams and a big vision in a way to get there.
Yeah. I think it's hard I went through it a little bit, was like having to step away and like almost detach myself from the work. Because at first it was like, oh, I love this. This is passion projects. This is music videos. It was creative, and having to step away from that and run a business and let other people handle the work and kind of step in here and there. But that was a big learning curve for me.
It's hard, dude. Yeah. It's hard. And, you know, I think that if you're in the content creation space and you want to start a business, as a content creator, you're going to struggle with not creating the content because that's what you're used to. That's what you're passionate about.
Yeah.
But if you look at the business, it's content creation is part of the business. It's not the business, you know?
100%.
And I think that a lot of people have to, you know, figure that out.
For sure.
Right? So you're almost better off being a business person starting a content creation business than being a content creator trying to start a business, because a lot of those people struggle.
There you go.
A lot of those people struggle.
Yeah.
It's hard,
100%.
you know? And yeah.
Cool, man. Well, I appreciate you hopping on. We can get into so many more conversations. I got to have you on again. So
Absolutely, bro. I'm glad to be here.
Of course.
Glad to be here.
Where can people connect and find you?
You can find me on Instagram, Logie17, LOGGIE17. That's my personal page. You could easily connect with me there. I'm always in the DMs. And if you like to check out our business work, you can find us on Instagram at Clout Agents, CLOUTAGENTS. And there you'll see some of our branding tips and some of the projects we're working on.
Cool, man. I appreciate you.
it. Yeah, of course, dude.